Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. It's your council recap, second edition. Chad Brecklin in the hot chair. You're literally in the hot chair today, and I'm out and about somewhere undisclosed. Let's leave it at that. But we're recapping the council meeting from September 10th, 2024, which you weren't there, but you were there. You know everything.
Well, yeah, I wasn't physically present for said meeting, but I have reviewed the contents of said meeting, so I think I can accurately speak to what occurred. So,
well, you're just sort of behind the scenes. I mean, this is the bread and butter of the many things you do. So you got a little bit of understanding, I would say, and a little bit of all of this. So let's jump right into it. We're going to go to the action items and start in the Board of Public Works improvement agreement with Pelletieri. This is the solid waste and recycling contract for 2025 through 2029.
Yeah. So we do a 5-year waste and recycling collection contract. We put that out through request for proposals, sent it to a number of potential interested vendors. Ultimately received one response, and that's from the city's current waste and recycling hauler, that being Pelletieri. On a side note, from my time in this role, I have noticed very few complaints from our community in regards to the services that Pelletieri provides. Sure, there have been moments here and there or issues here and there, but by and large, when you talk about the number of properties that are having waste or recycling collected each and every week, the percentage of issues is pretty minor. But ultimately, our engineering team, led by Ben Schulte, did the RFP and the assessments and made some recommendations. And what ultimately was approved last night was a contract that will have a minor decrease in the overall cost, which I know in this day and age seems to be a little bit foreign. But there will be a minor cost for the 2020 cost reduction for the 2025 waste and recycling collection. There is no change to the solid waste collection. There is a small change to our recycling collection. In the past, the city has allowed unlimited recycling to be placed in a bag or otherwise outside of the bin. That is being changed so that only items within the bin will be collected. Through assessment by Pelletieri, they're estimating that approximately 1% to 2% of our households, which I think is around 90 or so, are participating in the unlimited recycling, and they're picking up upwards of 7,000 carts collection period. So it's quite a small percentage of them doing the unlimited. And then yard waste will be adding one date more in the fall for yard waste collection. And there'll be no change to either brush collection or bulk item pickup. So by and large, just the one change that might have a negative impact on our residents, but I do want to remind folks that there are recycling options available at our drop-off site at Fish Hatchery Road. So anything that might not fit in your container, in particular cardboard, could be taken to our site down on Fish Hatchery Road. And
that is open daylight hours, so certainly you can get down there 7 days a week to throw away that extra cardboard. Over to Park Commission, resolution approving a grant application requirements for 2024 Urban Forestry Grant. It's a pretty cool one.
Yeah. So not all grants require a council resolution. In fact, the vast majority of do not, but there are a small handful that come in over the course of time that require a resolution be adopted by our Common Council indicating their support for a grant application. And this is one of those situations. So our forestry department, led by Scott Endel and Anna Healy, are looking to submit for an urban forestry grant. I believe this is from the DNR, if I recall correctly, and this would allow an application to be submitted for a tree planting plan for our urban forestry unit. So a nice opportunity to help offset costs related for our urban forestry planning process, and it's good to see the council support this one.
All right, turning our attention to the Emerald Ash Borer EAB management plan and update. That plan is moving forward, and it's worked up to this point, and we got to continue it.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Jeremy, this is an update to an existing Emerald Ash Borer plan. The city has had a plan in place for quite some time, not long after we learned of the Emerald Ash Borer and the damage and ultimately destruction that it causes to the ash trees. that are in our community. There are a number of those ash trees within our public right-of-way and our parks. So this plan puts together a process to help treat those trees in order to prolong their life while we continue to work to remove these trees since we know that they are not going to ultimately survive, and then replace those with other trees of a variety of different species in an effort to mitigate any future situations in which a tree species may be negatively affected by an environmental cause.
All right. Well, we'll continue to look for updates here in the future, and appreciate you sharing the information there. All right, turning our attention to the Finance Committee and approving a 2-year agreement with Quantum Workplace. What is this contract for?
Yeah, so this is a contract of 2 years with Quantum Workforce. They'll ultimately provide our city staff, in particular our Human Resources Department, with some tools to be able to survey staff to get a report on feedback from our staff in regards to workplace culture, management, those sorts of things. And this is not taxpayer-funded, city taxpayer-funded expense. This was done through our ARPA TID investment plan, so we're actually using one-time revenue from our TID closure to fund this 2-year arrangement.
And then our next 2 items, looking at picking up some EV vehicles or electric vehicles there for replacement and beyond.
These next 2 resolutions are in regards to some electric vehicle purchases the city is making. The city does have a couple of electric trucks, light-duty trucks in our Public Works Department that have been working out favorably with some positive staff feedback. So we are continuing to add EVs to our fleet. The next 2 resolutions basically authorize the purchase of 3 EVs. One of those EVs will be going to our assessing department. A second one in this purchase will be going to our building inspection department, and the third EV in this purchase will be headed to our police department. So another way we're continuing to try to improve our impact on the climate, and we'll probably be adding more EVs in the coming months here in the city as well. So looking forward to seeing where this takes us.
Fantastic. And then we have a resolution authorizing the purchase of for PD's purpose, if I understood it right here, and that's the other vehicle. So it's kind of interesting because I also remember hearing too, I mean, there's been a backup with EVs as well. So the process with this also takes time to get EVs because everybody wants them. Everybody's trying to move to them as well. So I just make the comment that's been a kind of a process that we want to get into, but running just a little bit slow there.
Yeah, it takes time to assess the needs, and these 3 vehicles that we're purchasing now, one of the big needs for our city departments is all-wheel drive, and obviously with the inclement weather that we have here in Wisconsin, that it's understandable why we would need an all-wheel drive vehicle. So it does somewhat limit our options from an EV perspective, but these purchases seem to make reasonable sense to accomplish what we need, as they are all-wheel drive vehicles.
All right, turning our attention to the unfinished business section of the agenda, and we have an ordinance here creating a Section 8 Fitchburg ordinance related to information consent permit for our attorney and the way she communicates. There's a lot of stuff here, and I know you are not an attorney and I'm not an attorney, but ultimately an update to this ordinance.
Yeah, I'm not going to begin to try to fully explain this one because, as you mentioned, I am not an attorney and I'm not going to pretend to be one here. But our city attorney, Valerie Zisman, mentioned that there was a recent ruling coming out of the American Bar Association, I believe, that is necessitating an update to our city ordinances in order to address this ruling. So what this basically does in kind of a simplified fashion for someone like me to be able to understand is, obviously, there are attorney-client privileges, right? And you don't discuss with other lawyers necessarily who you're working with. But in a case of being a municipal attorney like Valerie is, it's clearly evident she's working for the city of Fitchburg, right? And that's the client, so to speak, in quotation marks. So what this does is basically allows an avenue for Valerie to continue to utilize things like listservs, attend conferences and network, and discuss things that have some legal relevance to the city of Fitchburg with other colleagues who are also attorneys who might be able to offer similar experience or advice on situations that they have faced that might be similar to what Valerie may be looking at now. So it's really one of those kind of housekeeping items in order to address a recent ruling, and helps allow city staff, in this case our city attorney, to continue to do her job effectively.
And finally, we turn to a resolution of approving Wisconsin Park and Recreation Association tickets. This has to do with the tickets that are sold through the Recreation Department. And boy, did they collect a lot of, or got out a lot of tickets this year to some great attractions across the state.
Right, yeah, I think for a number of years now, our Recreation Department has offered for sale during the summertime attractions to things in Wisconsin. Oftentimes, most of them are Wisconsin Dells related attractions, but there are others throughout the state that are available for purchase here at the Recreation Department. So in this particular case, we get, I think it's 75 cents from each ticket we sell, and we sold approximately 1,300 tickets this year to a variety of different attractions, and that resulted in just around $1,000 in contribution to the City of Fitchburg Recreation Department as a result of participating in this program. And then, of course, the remaining money collected from the ticket sales, this resolution is authorizing that payment to be made to the Park and Recreation Association of Wisconsin, so that they get the money that is rightfully theirs from the sale of those tickets.
All right, Chad, we made it through a little bumpy on our second one, but we did it, and we'll come back and we'll be better next time. But you can catch this meeting and all the past meetings. We record them here at Fact TV, and we'll continue to do updates after each council meeting here with Chad. Appreciate the time, Chad, as always.
Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate your time.